Today I'm going to show you how to create a simple augmented experience for a mobile device using scene recognition. For this tutorial we're going to use the Unity game engine with the wikitube SDK and bring in the wikitube Unity package that you can download from the link below. Once it's imported into Unity, it'll give you a wikitube folder in your assets that you can see down here. Now inside of there you'll also find lots of samples that you can look through to see how other wikitube experiences are created. Now we also have this streaming assets folder, and it's quite important because this is going to be where our marker ends up that we create in just a moment. I'll get back to that when we use it. First of all, what we're going to do in the scene itself is create wikitube camera. Now to search for that, just type wiki in there in your project window, and you'll find that the wikitube camera is this one here. It's just a grey looking square. Drag and drop that into the scene. With that in there, you won't need your main camera, so just delete that. Now, if you have a wikitube license key, this is where you put it. Click on wikitube camera in the inspector, you'll find a spot where you can type that in. If you don't have a license key, you can use the trial keys that come with the download samples. That's fine. When you build it out to a device, it just will have some watermarking on it. But if you apply through the wikitube website for a license key, this is where it's going to go. Now, in addition to that license key there, we also need to switch your project over to the correct platform. Mine is currently a Mac platform because that was the default one. To change it, go to File, Build Settings, and in there I'm going to change it to Android. So click on Android and go Switch Platform. And actually at the same time I'm just going to make that internal, and this might take a little while. When Unity is finished rebuilding all of your assets for the platform you chose, in this case it was Android, you'll need to add the scene that you want to build out. Now in this case my scene is called HOTA, or Home of the Arts, which you'll see in a moment why it's called that. So I'm not going to use this sample scene. My scene is in the assets folder right at the top there. Just drag and drop that into the scenes in build, and that will make sure that it gets built out to your device. While we're also here, click on player settings, and to link your license key up with your actual app, you need to put your bundle ID in. Under player settings over in the inspector, if you look down through the list of all of the settings for Android, you'll see under identification package name. This is where your bundle ID goes. So type whatever you're using into that space. Okay, so let's now add in our object. In the hierarchy, we're going to add in an object tracker. So let's just search for object tracker. That's another prefab that comes with the wikitube SDK, and it's just here. Drag and drop that into your scene. Now you'll see that a child of it is called trackable. The object tracker is what looks for your trained marker in the real world environment. So we need to now create that marker. For this tutorial, I decided to use the new outdoor stage area that's on the Gold Coast at the Home of the Arts. And you can see here it's a very interesting structure with a lot of patterns in it that's going to make a really great marker. Once you've identified the scene or the object that you want to make a marker from, you need to walk around it and take photographs at all different types of angles. Make sure that you have overlapping photographs as well. You're allowed to put up to 30 photographs in when you first create the marker. I took about 75 in my walk around this structure, and then I picked the best 30 that best represented it from all angles. With those photographs in hand, you then need to take a visit to Wikitube Studio that's on the Wikitube website. You then create a new project. Make sure that the type is set to object and that you give it an appropriate meaningful name before hitting create. Once that comes up, you can then click on it and go about adding target objects. A box will pop up that will allow you to drag and drop all of the images that you took into it. So here are the ones that I selected. I put them in a separate folder to make it easier. and then just drag and drop them where it says choose images on the web page. You'll want to then give your target a name. This will be the name of the file that you end up downloading. You also need to set the field of view so that Wikitube knows the perspective dimensions that you created your photographs with, and usually you can select the type of camera that you took them with. Once they're there, you can hit on Create Target, and that will start uploading all of those images, and you can see the progress bars quite clearly as each one is processed. Once that's done, Wikitube will start building a 3D marker from all of your photograph data. When that's finished, you can take a look at your 3D data or the point cloud that is created from all of your photographs if you open up the Studio editor. And here you can see the point cloud data created from my photographs. So it's really cool what it can do. This is going to be the data that is used as the marker, or at least the training for the marker when you get to the real world and it's trying to detect something that it knows about in the scene that it's looking at. Now, what you need to put into Unity is called a WTO file, and you can find that at the top of the web page where it says WTO with the little arrow. Just click on that and then go through the process of downloading it, where you'll get a message that says that you'll get an email of where you can pick up your WTO file. Wait for that email to arrive, click on the link, download the WTO file and keep it handy. Back in Unity, you're going to put your WTO file into the Streaming Assets folder inside the Wikitube folder. Open that up, you'll see a number of other marker files that are in there. So drag and drop your WTO file into the Wikitube folder. Then what you need to do is go to your object tracker, and we're going to set the target collection to be the WTO that I just brought in, or you just brought in. So just drop that down and Wikitube will automatically look for the object marker data in that folder, and you can see that mine is just there. So add that in, and now when you run this, it's going to be looking for something in the camera feed that looks like the structure that we trained. Now, so far, all we've done is create an object tracker that's going to look for our structure. Basically, what happens is as the camera feed comes in from your device, it gets processed, and Wikitube is looking through all of that data, looking for something that it recognizes, which has to look like your marker. When it finds it, it makes this trackable object that's underneath it and childed to it visible. Otherwise, it turns it off and makes it invisible, so that when the marker's there, you've got your augmented object. When it's not there. Now, this trackable object needs to have the thing that you want displayed in the drawable settings for it. In this case, I've got something in Assets, and this is a singer prefab. I'll just drag and drop that into the scene so that you can see what it looks like anyway. Okay, so it's a singer and he is basically playing the air guitar. This is the guy I want to display on my marker when it's detected. So I'm not going to have it there. What I'm going to do is click on Trackable and set it up as one of these drawable objects. So just drag and drop that into that spot there. Now, if you don't have a model to put on here, you can make a prefab out of a simple cube and use that instead, just to test the detection functionality in this app. To test it all out, you can press play, and if you've got your webcam connected to your machine, you'll be able to get a live preview. Of course, if you've taken a real world scene, you won't be able to get that scene near your webcam. So a piece of paper with a printout of one of your images will suffice. You can see here how it's detected the image and put my singer on it, but the singer isn't aligned to where I want it to be. So just by selecting the singer prefab that will appear attached to your trackable object, you can then scale it and rotate it and transform it until it looks like he is on the stage. Because remember, this is all about faking the augmented object to look as though it's over your video feed. So once you've got him pretty much where you want him to appear when you run your app, you can go over to the transform in the inspector and copy that component. That will put all of those values for position, rotation, and scale into memory. Then you can just simply paste them onto the prefab. Now, when you run it again, you'll find these transformations are applied immediately to your object and it will appear where you want it to be. Okay, now you're ready to build it out to your device and try it in the real world.